Uh, Good morning, everybody. Thank you for the introduction. Really happy to be here. Really happy that I have some other people up on stage here. I was feeling a little nervous being all alone up here. But yeah, welcome and good morning. And yeah, I guess my role is the opening act, and hopefully my nervousness won't put you to sleep. But yeah, I'm really excited to talk about one of our projects that we recently completed. And I guess I might be cheating a little bit with my presentation. I will be talking a little bit more than just about the site, but a little bit about the building and the neighborhood as well. Yeah, I guess with that, we'll get started. So yeah, I'll just start with a little introduction about myself and our firm. Then I'll be talking about the project specifically called Lauderdale Terrace, and then finish with a few kind of lessons learned, a few things that we hope will happen, or that we maybe could have done a little bit differently. So yeah, just a little bit about our firm. Second generation architect, as Lisa mentioned, and yeah, we've been around for over 50 years. We're a relatively small firm, 12 people right now, and yeah, and over 50 years, you complete a few different projects, but yeah, I guess our focus has been a lot of healthcare, a lot of seniors housing, and affordable, socially responsible housing, and some institutional projects. Yeah, I'm principal with our firm. I've been a principal for since 2001 when I got registered as an architect. Do a lot of volunteer work, which I am pretty passionate and engaged with. Yeah, I think Lisa covered most of that in the introduction. So yeah, Lauderdale Terrace. This is a project that we completed for a group called GEF Seniors Housing. They are a provider of affordable housing for seniors here in Edmonton. The site itself is sort of north central Edmonton. It's a mature neighborhood. And the site, which was owned by the city of Edmonton, before we developed it, it was quite low density. It had 6 duplexes, so 12 people lived in these small kind of bungalows that were on the site. And yeah, I can't remember at what point we got contacted by Dr. Lee and her team, but fairly early on in the project, we started talking with her and seeing what we could do to incorporate some of her ideas. Some of the project goals we had were taking a low density site and increasing the density. We wanted to improve the healthy supporting amenities, which I'll talk about. Key piece is providing affordable housing for seniors, and yeah, it wasn't just any seniors within the city of Edmonton. It was really trying to create homes for people that lived in that community that needed something more appropriate for their age. The project also got federal government funding called the Rapid Housing Initiative, and along with that, we had to provide. There was mandated we had to use modular or prefabricated construction, and we had to meet energy accessibility and some schedule guidelines. We also engaged with the community early on, and we really wanted to hear from them what was important and what they would like to see in the project. That was important for us, but also for our client. And yeah, these are some of the things that we heard that really resonated for us. Not just filling a property with a big building, but that it would also incorporate green space, and that green space could be used by both residents of the buildings on the site, but also people within the community. The we also heard about, ability to have gardens where people could grow things, and a mixture of suite types. So making sure that there was some choice within the building for people's different circumstances, how much space they might want. Barrier-free was a big part. This is a home for seniors. There's no care, but that's the type of clientele that we were designing for. And yeah, the healthy supporting amenities was important, before, or to us before we got involved with Dr. Lee, but they came on board and really just helped us focus a little bit more on those things. So yeah, within the project, breaking it down into the neighborhood, the site, and the building. The neighborhood is, it's a mature neighborhood. It's very walkable. There's a healthy mixed use of services within the community. Um, the, uh, uh, the site, we, yeah, we wanted, physical activity and social connections, some of the things that we talked about, or that have been talked about already this morning, those were key parts. We'll talk a bit about the parking, even though, yeah, we didn't want to promote it, but we did have to address it. And then I'll talk about the building, the facade design, some of the entrance features, um, some of the active mobility, the things we did to promote people doing, using stairs and things like that, and some indoor physical activity spaces. So yeah, here's a image of the neighborhood, and there's an idea of what's available for people within that neighborhood, which includes, in that sort of turquoise color, some stores and restaurants and retail. The project site you can see just to the right, uh, with the red rectangle, and then the green areas there's great, parks. There's a dog park. There's a recreation center. There's a community league. There's multiple churches and mosques, and just to the east of the site, you can kind of see there's a dotted line, and that's a multi-use pathway that's directly behind the project. So having something like that was quite unique and unusual, and great for the project. So yeah, in terms of the healthy mixed use component, as I mentioned, there's 5 different parks and green spaces. There's 12 opportunities for commercial retail space. There's community and leisure spaces, and there's bus stops. There's a bus stop directly across the street from our project, and that can take you to, transit hubs, and get you to other places fairly easily and quickly. Did I go? No. So yeah, just to give you an overview of the project itself, this is a site plan, and you can see that the property is quite long and narrow, and really lent itself to creating townhouses, row houses, something with a really good urban design and street integration. And one of the things we heard from the community was people being worried about sun shadows on their property. So building A is a one-story building, and that's directly adjacent to a neighbor's home. And then building B is a 3-story apartment building. So, and then between those, we have our kind of community gathering space for, not just residents of the 2 buildings, but also, hopefully to pull people in from the community. And then at the bottom of the screen, you can see there's that regional pathway, which the site looks onto and creates some interesting animation to the back of the building, which is kind of, I guess, a little bit unusual. But yeah, what we also tried to do was, you know, building A is a series of townhouses, row houses, so they all have their own individual entrances. But building B, which is more of an apartment building, we'll call it, some of the ground floor units have their own entrance directly to their suite, and then there's a common entrance to the building. And then there's parking at the rear. So for the communal outdoor space, yeah, we saw it as a multi-use gathering space. We also, sorry, just to go back if I can. Oh, it comes up later, sorry. But yeah, there's an outdoor walking loop. So that was something that we heard from the client that they wanted to incorporate as an outdoor space for people to, you know, do some laps and get some exercise. Obviously, landscaping, there was some great mature trees on the boulevard, and that was an important piece of our site design as well, was incorporating soft landscaping. We also have the community garden, so you can see the planter beds in the photos. These photos were taken in the spring, so yeah, we're hoping as the summer goes on to get back and take some photos with, you know, things growing there and people spending time outside. And yeah, the other thing was, you know, porches and places for people to sit outside and have that opportunity to interact with their neighbor. Yeah, I guess one of the more unique things about this building is in order to get to the upper floors of the apartment building, we have an outdoor walkway. So when you enter the building, you can either use a couple of stairs to go up, or you can use an elevator to go up. And for the people on those upper floors, they would come out onto that walkway, and then their front door into their apartment would be off of that walkway. So, and that walkway looks onto that multi-use pathway. So it's, you know, again, these are early photos, but really hope that people will set up, you know, outdoor furniture and spend time out there and have that opportunity to interact with their neighbors. Yeah, the parking is to the rear off the alleyway. There's the required or, you know, barrier-free parking, which is important for this this client group. You know, tried to keep them as far away as possible from the gardens, the planters. The building also, the apartment building has, you know, secure bicycle parking. So, you know, people can, you know, feel comfortable using their bicycles, and that, you know, they'll be safe when they're not using them. So yeah, the parking is, you know, try to keep it as far away as possible from the planter beds, and located behind the building. They're centrally located, and yeah, the secure bike parking. So here's the main floor plan of the apartment building, and yeah, just tried to color code it to give you some ideas on some of the different functions of common space or semi-private space. You come in at the front at where it says vestibule. There's even an outdoor patio adjacent to the front entrance, again, to, you know, promote social interaction. Different events could happen there. Would it be possible to get a water? Thank you. So, yeah, within the building, we have some common areas that include a lounge or a multi-purpose space. We have a common laundry, and that's that was a discussion we had with the client, was about laundry, and their feeling was better to keep the laundry outside of the suites, have a common laundry area, again, to kind of pull people out of their suites and have that opportunity for social interaction with their community. We also have an exercise room for people. There's the secure bike parking. There's also secure scooter parking for people. But I'm not sure if you can see on the two ends, we have stairs, and in the middle, we have an elevator. And so we did, and I'll show some photos later, but we really tried to promote people using stairs. And but an elevator was required. And yeah, the upper floor is pretty straightforward with the different apartments, and then that sort of salmon or pink color. So that's those, when I showed that photo earlier of that outdoor walkway, that's where we hope people will set up their outdoor furniture and spend time outside of their apartment. And building A, the row house building, again, fairly tight on the site, but those pink areas, people have set up outdoor seating and do spend time out there, which is great to see. They are at the back of the building a little bit tight, but people have sort of squeezed in some furniture and do spend time back there. In terms of the facade design, some of the things that I think align with the guidelines that we're looking forward to getting, the gradual increase in building height across the site, which I mentioned before, just trying to respect the neighbors and access to sun and privacy. We tried to use canopies at all the entrances into the various suites, just to, give that urban design and, sort of entrance, feeling of entrance and individuality. And, we did, do our best to maximize the site setbacks facing the streets, just to give more of that increased transparency between the street and the ground floor. Yeah, and here you can see that covered patio at the front of the building, awaiting some furniture, but we hope that'll be a kind of common porch area for people within the building and for the community to kind of come together at. But yeah, the facade facing the roadway doesn't contain more than 40% of a blank wall. There's windows, there's changes in siding. We've used colors to vary the facade. We've used some lighter color selections on the south-facing facade to try to reflect some of the heat that might be gained. And the use of windows and textures and colors and other design elements to improve, that pedestrian experience, not just of people living there, but of people walking by. Yeah, building entrances, we have the paved sidewalks that come up to the front doors with the entrance canopies. And I think when you go there as a visitor, it's quite obvious where the front or the main entrance is, and then there's different addresses for each of the townhouses. So I think it's quite easy to orientate yourself around the site. The sidewalks are sloped leading to the suites, so it really provides that feeling of connection and transition from public to private space. And yeah, doorways are all sized accordingly for people that might have mobility issues. At the front entrance, at the image you can see on the bottom of the screen, we may oversize the vestibule leading into the building and provided a window and a bench. So if someone is getting picked up, they can kind of go there, wait. But it also acts as sort of a 5-season or 4-season space, so people can be there in the wintertime. The stairs, try to bring in lots of natural light and try to promote the use of people using the stairs. Here's the gym, so natural light and connections from there's a window between the exercise room and the laundry room, so increasing connection, or people can spend time in the gym and see if their laundry is done or not. So, yeah, some other considerations around the protruding balconies to allow neighbors to see and interact with each other, which I've mentioned, and those indoor and outdoor social spaces and amenities. And so, yeah, I guess hopefully I'm just about on time. But some of the lessons that we've learned, for a previous project we did with this client, we were able to introduce a more centrally located stair that was near the elevators, so that would try to promote people using the stair instead of using the elevator. And in this case, we just didn't have the building space to pull that off. We, went through some cost-saving exercises, and a few things got dropped off. One of them was, some outdoor lighting. It would have been nice to have done, some smaller scale, human scale lighting in that outdoor common space gathering area. Yeah, and the planters, again, on a previous project that was big enough, we were able to design in a greenhouse, so a space for season where people could grow things. And in this case, we're limited to the outdoor seasons. And yeah, the one thing we're really curious about is that exterior walkway that we have, and we're just wondering what will happen through the different winters, if people will struggle with that or not. We're not sure at this point, just because the building is so new. And yeah, I guess finally, just I think we did not a bad job of incorporating a lot of healthy community features. But yeah, there was a couple of things like in the exercise room, we should have had a water filling station or a drinking fountain. That upper walkway that I showed earlier, we had designed some visual barriers between each person's, call it porch area, but we had to take those out for costing. So it sort of changes the nature of that space a little bit. And yeah, I think as many things as we could have incorporated, we would have loved to have done. So that's my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jonathan.